In this video, we're going to be working on this Honda Civic by giving it a little bit of a makeover to resemble this car right here. Now this won't be a one-to-one transformation, but I'll be showing you guys some simple and affordable ways to make your daily driver feel like a brand new car again. Hello and welcome, my name is Kevin, and if you guys are new here, welcome to my channel where I like to restore and modify cheap old cars using DIY methods. Alright y'all, so for today's video we're actually going to be working on my 8th gen Honda Civic. Now you guys know that I'm doing a junkyard build for my 2000 Honda Civic. Well, this right here, this is my actual daily car. It's what I use to drive every day, go to work. It's my workhorse, so I think me making this video is kind of an excuse for me to actually work on it. Got a whole list here of just random like upgrades that you could do to your car just to kind of, you know, spruce it up a little bit. Now this one right here is a 2011 Honda Civic. Besides the EK, this is probably one of my favorite, my favorite generation of Civic. Yeah, it's a good car. I definitely recommend it as, you know, a daily driver. First car for, you know, regular folks. So this video right here is just to show you guys what you could do to kind of revive it a little bit. You know, it is still a modern car, but you know, all these new cars coming out with a whole bunch of technology and whatnot. At times this could feel a little outdated. Yeah, we're just gonna modify it a little bit. We're not gonna go too crazy, but yeah, we'll kind of just give it a little update. Alright, so first things first, before we even start throwing new parts at it, I think I want to focus on first cleaning and decluttering the car. Just fair warning, this is basically my work car, so it gets quite messy inside at the end of the week. And as we open her up, well, it's not too bad up here in the front, but oh my god, look at all this junk back here. Yeah, I think it's time for a cleaning. And so for the very first thing on our list of mods is a deep clean and a detailing for the interior. Now doing this is great because it's totally free to do, and having a clean car on the inside definitely improves how comfortable it is to drive in. And as you can see, I do love my coffee in the mornings. Maybe I should have a counter to track how many cups and bottles that we find in here. And hey, so that's where my 10mm went. See guys, it's definitely worth cleaning up as you'll find things that wound up missing. The center console almost always ends up being filled with random things and as well as trash just because of how easy it is to toss in there, so be sure to clean this area out every so often. As for me, I like to toss a bunch of spare change in there after getting my coffee, but I recommend getting a coin pouch so that it's not just loosely sitting in your car. Now, I admit I do a lot of eating and multitasking while I'm driving, so unfortunately my passenger seat is also a victim of getting trash thrown at it. If you're a messy person like me, I recommend keeping a small trash bag in your car so that everything doesn't just get thrown onto the floor. I hate to expose how dirty my car gets, but I recognize that it is a problem, and hey, I'm here right now actively trying to change that. So if you're the same way, I hope this inspires you to do the same. Let's see what kind of random things we could find stashed away in the back seats. So we've got an extension cord and a phone holder, some shop towels, and hey, a car model kit. Fun fact, I found this at a vintage store. Got a box full of random stuff like manuals. And then this actually broke off. I'll show y'all a quick fix later for that. And we've got some July 4th sparklers. What the heck? But yeah, now that the insides are all cleared out, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the trunk where most of my tools are stored. Check this out. After finally clearing out my trunk, I found a ball attachment that goes to the trailer hitch that I installed on the Civic previously. Fun fact, me and my friends hauled a small trailer with a motorcycle inside of it across the country from Cali all the way to Texas. It was quite the experience and probably won't do that again. But look at this y'all, trunk is totally empty and all of those tools on the ground is what I had stuffed back there. Doing this, I feel like qualifies as a weight reduction mod, because driving the car after actually felt a lot better. And then here goes all of the trash that was inside of the car, an entire bag's worth. The car's pretty much empty now, so I'm gonna focus on organizing this stuff, putting it up inside of the house off of camera. Next we'll get into actually cleaning the car. I'll show you guys here that I've got tons of stains in the carpet. We'll end up just replacing them most likely. Yeah, I use this car to haul car parts and whatnot, so the interior is pretty damn dirty. So we're gonna go in there with the vacuum and then hit it with the stain remover. So all right, it's time to bring out the little shop vacuum. Bought this from Aldi's actually, and it's holding up pretty decently. And then we've got our extractor from Walmart. So now that we have the entire car cleaned out, it's time for us to get up in there and start vacuuming.
Yo, Luca, what the fuck is this?
Yo, my carpet is done for. Bro, how does this even happen? Hey, I really hope this isn't mold. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these mats out, and you could either dust and vacuum them off, but like I said before, I am replacing these. So let's just get them out the way so that we can start vacuuming the floor of the car. We want to get rid of all this dirt and grime that's built up here in the corners. Not much of a method here, I'm just going over every nook and cranny, making sure I don't miss a spot. And then if you find any loose change, of course, go ahead and pocket that. And once the floor is done, we'll move it over to the seats, making sure we get in between the creases. And your vacuum should have came with different tip attachments, so if you're having trouble getting your vacuum hose into a specific spot, go ahead and switch out the tip for a skinnier one for those hard to reach areas. And the center console usually ends up dirty and sticky from the drinks and whatnot, so we'll go ahead and get the hose in there to clean up any loose debris. And it doesn't hurt to vacuum up all the plastic areas as well. Now let's move it to the back seat where all of those water bottles piled up. Be sure to get underneath the seats and in between the rails as well. A skinnier hose attachment will work well for this part. Hey, just like you clean and dust your home every, week? Man, you should do the same for your car. You know, you drive this every single day. You just want to have a clean space and a clean mind. Yeah. Alright, just like that, we've got the interior emptied out and a lot cleaner than before. After vacuuming, we'll go the extra mile to extract some of the stains out of the cloth seats and carpet. Now this machine is actually used for pet stain removals off of furniture and carpet, but it's also useful to use for your car as well. So what you gotta do is fill up this reservoir with hot water and mix it with the chemical solution used to remove stains. Now I just bought the advanced formula from Bissell, which leaves a nice smell. It works pretty well on stains. Now give it a shake and reinsert and you should be ready to go. The way this machine works is you're basically spraying the solution directly onto the stain while simultaneously brushing and vacuuming up the debris. So it's basically an all-out attack and works really well to remove deep stains. But it is quite labor intensive, so be ready for a workout when using this thing. Now I've used this extractor plenty of times in my junkyard series and it seems to get the job done decently. So if you're just now getting into detailing, I highly recommend investing in one of these. Not this brand specifically, but extractors always come in handy for a quick deep clean. And then just like with the vacuum, be sure to cover all areas and don't forget to hit the back of the seats as well. Check it out, I've just started working on the floor carpet and I think it's getting a majority of it out. And so once you feel like you're done with the carpet and cloth seats, it's now time to detail all of the plastics. I've just bought these detailing products from Walmart, but honestly, you could mix your own solution with just warm water and a little bit of dish soap. It pretty much works the same to degrease and clean the plastic surface areas. But yeah, we're just gonna spray it all down with the solution and wipe off all the grime and dust with a microfiber towel. And because the center console ended up so sticky like your little brother's PS4 controller, I've just got here my dish soap mix and his toothbrush to really get in there and scrub it all down. As you can see, this method works super good and I actually just ended up ditching the Armor All detailing spray and just brushed all of my plastic components with my dish soap mix. My door card was really dirty, but doing this cleaned it up pretty well. So the entirety of my driver's side gets really dirty just from me stepping in and out, so just make sure you're not forgetting to clean spots like these. Cleaning these lower areas like the door jambs actually really improve the feeling of getting inside of a clean car. It's like the first thing you notice when you open the door, so don't forget to wipe them down. But yeah, I'm gonna just continue to do that for, my dirty and dusty plastic pieces. That's basically the first step to cleaning up and, modifying this car a little bit just to give it a nice refreshing feel. I think my interior is just too far gone because of all of the car parts that I haul along with it. My seats are just riddled with like oil and whatnot. I think a different solution would be to cover it up. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm here at Walmart in the automotive section, trying to see which car covers that I want. And yo, I didn't know Skechers made car parts. And that's pretty cool, but I think I'm gonna skip out on those and go for these Dickies instead. And since we're shopping for interior pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some new car mats and a steering wheel cover to give the car a fresh feel. And by the way, make sure you choose the correct size. I accidentally grabbed one that was meant for a larger diameter steering wheel, so it's worth to actually read labels. Yeah, so for color choice, I went with all black to replace this ugly stained tan interior. I've actually never installed car seats before, so this is my first time doing this. If you know me or my channel, usually I'd be replacing parts with junkyard parts, but we're just gonna try this out and see how it looks. My preferred option would be to find a Civic SI at a junkyard, but chances of that are pretty slim. So 60 bucks for some car seats, and if you don't like it, you could always return it. So that's the beauty of it. The reason why I chose these specifically is because it's tried to get something that was all black and uniform, and the material is kind of like, I don't know, fake leather, I guess. It says on the box vegan leather, whatever that means. Probably plastic infused with it, but I think it feels decent. Top is gonna have an opening for the headrest. Yeah, putting these car seats on is pretty simple. You just gotta take the headrest off and then slip the covers over like a t-shirt. So these were universal car seats, so it's not gonna conform to the Civic seats 100%. But I found afterwards that from time and just sitting in the sun, the covers settle in eventually. And here it is installed on the passenger seat. It's got a bunch of creases from being folded up in a box, but like I said, it eventually smoothens out. It's alright. Well, what I would say is these would be just a nice cover to, if you wanted to preserve the OEM seats. That way you don't get any stains on the original cloth seats. Like having these on my seats will definitely help while I'm hauling parts. That way I don't get my original seats dirty. But, you know what, I should have done that from the get-go. But hey, here it is. And here are the front seats with the black covers on them. And after that, it's time to move on to the back seats. It's pretty much the same process. You just take off the headrests and fold the back seat down so that you can slip the covers over just like a t-shirt. And with the excess fabric, you just tuck it into the creases to make it nice and snug. Now I'd really love to come across a Civic Si with black interior to swap it all out, but chances of that are pretty slim and expensive. So getting seat covers is a much easier and affordable option to change your interior up. And here we go guys, we've got the back seat covers installed. I just wish it covered up the sides as well. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I don't really look right. I mean, it's kinda giving Uber driver vibes. But let's go ahead and throw in the new car mats to match the seat covers. Not just like the covers, these are gonna be universal mats, so it's not gonna fit 100%, but it looks like they'll do the job just fine. It's a step up from the previously stained mats for sure. You can probably find replacement mats online that are specifically made for your car, but I'm just showing you guys what you can do with the stuff that's immediately available at your local auto parts store. And check it out guys, here's the interior slightly converted to an all black look. With some simple mods that anyone can do, we've already changed the feel of the Civic by giving it a little interior refresh. And here's your steering wheel cover that I went with. I actually really like the design of this one because it made driving the car a lot more enjoyable with how comfortable it feels. And so for one of the great places to come to as a DIYer, as you can see, I've got all these dead cars around me. Yeah, we're here at a junkyard. Now this is really my favorite place to come to when it comes to getting second-hand parts, because yeah, most of the time you can find something for a really good steal, and a lot of the times you'll find Honda Civics here at junkyards. So really good resource if you're looking for an affordable way to repair your car, especially when it comes to little things like side moldings and fuses and little interior pieces. Speaking of little interior pieces, y'all remember this? Well, the sun visor broke on me, and apparently for this generation of Civic, it's a pretty common issue. For some reason, Honda decided to make these out of plastic, and well, these don't hold up too good. As you can see, they tend to split up here at the top. Yeah, and that's why we're here at the junkyard trying to find some new ones. And take a look at this Civic's interior. Looks like they sold a trim with the option to have leather gray seats. Can't say that I'm too fond of it though. So I came across another Honda Civic, but unfortunately someone's already snatched the sun visor. I'm thinking these might end up becoming rare to get a hold of in the future. So if you've still got yours intact, good on you. And then here's another part that I was looking for, but the cars I came across were already taken, or just didn't have it in the first place. Looks like those are common issues for that generation of Civic. Yeah, I've kind of been out here for a good minute. Passed by a couple, by like maybe 3 or 4 Civics already, and all of those pieces that I need are gone. Hopefully we can find one soon, yeah. Alright y'all, there's gotta be some type of Honda Civic bandit out here that has been taking every single one of these sun visors and weather strips, because I swear I've come across like 5 or 6 Civics with all of them gone. Well, that's no problem, because lucky for us Honda boys, damn near all of our parts are interchangeable. And so I did a little digging on the internet, and someone figured out that the sun visors off of the Acura TLs actually fit perfectly on our 8th gen Civics. Yeah, shout out to that dude. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these off of this and show y'all guys real quick. Now all you need for this is just a flathead to pry off the plastic cover and take out the 2 screws holding the sun visor in. The ones for the TL come with wiring for the mirror light, but we won't be needing that, so just go ahead and unplug the clip and pull the visor off. Now we're back in my Civic, and I'll show y'all here that it should fit right up. All you gotta do is just screw it in place as you normally would. Alright, finally got a sun visor back in my car. Not gonna lie, it's been a struggle without it, but I'm glad that we found that TL. And this actually serves as an upgrade because this one is able to extend, and it's a much larger sun visor than the original one we had. So whether yours is broken or not, it's still a nice modification to do regardless. And then another easy mod to enhance your interior will be to upgrade your rear view mirror. You can find these online, but I think I might have bought this off a TikTok shop actually. It's a larger mirror than the original, which will give me a better visibility, but I think what got me sold was the fact that it had LED lights built in to give it an infinity mirror effect when you turn it on. Totally unnecessary, but I just thought it was a fun little detail. And last but not least, a cheap and easy mod for the interior will be to throw in some air fresheners. No one wants to step into a stinky car. But besides that, here's some honorable mentions of mods to add that I just didn't get around to installing. You could get yourself a dash cam as well as a new radio with a CarPlay feature. Alright guys, now it's time for some exterior mods. First up on the list is we're going to be cleaning our foggy headlights. It's more along the lines of maintenance, but after giving your headlights a refresh, it seriously brings the look of your car back to life. So I've never really used one of these kits before. Apparently this could be done in 3 easy steps. We got to clean it, we got to sand it down, and then we just got to coat it, and we're done. So yeah, we're gonna try it out and just see how well it goes. So this should be fairly simple to do, maybe like 20 minutes of your time, and just follow the instructions that are provided. First things first, I'm gonna pull out some masking tape and tape around the edges of the headlights. The reason for this is that we'll be sanding the headlight, and so you wouldn't want to scratch up the paint while doing so. This tape will act as a protective layer so that we can avoid messing up the paint. The other option, which is more preferred for a better result, is to take off the headlights entirely so that you can cover all areas of it without worrying about masking or scratching any of the body panels. But for video's sake, I think showing the process with them still on the car will be simpler for the regular folks. So here we go. We've got all of the contents of the box being shown here. Came with instructions, oxidation remover and ceramic coating packets, one for each headlight, as well as a sanding tool and some sanding pads. Alright, so the first step of the process, I'll be cleaning the headlight myself with just some warm soapy water, just to get the loose dirt and grime off there before hitting it with the oxidation remover cloth. With the square cloth, you want to just rub it back and forth, not a swirling motion, and be sure to cover all areas of the headlight. This pretty much cleans up the headlight in preparation for the sanding process. Man, look at that. Just with the oxidation remover, the headlight looks way better after cleaning it off. But for this process, we basically want to seal it so that it stays looking like this, or else it'll just fog up soon after. So after wiping it clean, we'll now grab the sanding tool and attach the 1000 grit sanding pad to it. This product comes with 3 different grits ranging from 1000 to 3000. So by standard procedure, we'll start off with the roughest grit first to really sand down that oxidation, Then we'll move up to a finer grit to smoothen out the scratches even more. The instructions insisted on wet sanding for best results, so I've got my water bottle here to spray it down and keep it wet while I sand with an up, down, side to side motion. Be sure to hit all areas of the headlight and you'll know you're ready to move on to the next step when the headlight appears foggy. After sanding it a bit, it should start looking blurry like this. So now go ahead and switch the 1000 grit sanding pad up to the 2000 grit sanding pad. We'll be doing the same process, just keeping it wet and sanding it down evenly. And once you're done with that step, go ahead and move up to 3000 grit to finalize the sanding process. And now that we're done sanding, it's finally time to give it a layer of protection using their ceramic coating packet. For this, the instructions are saying to very gently slide the cloth across the headlight in a straight motion, applying very little pressure while doing so. And wow guys, you can already see it becoming a lot clearer just as I'm passing it by. We've got the passenger side completed, and man, the difference in headlights is clear as day. It looks so much better compared to the headlight that we haven't touched yet. So while this side is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the driver's side. Already I could tell this looks way better than before. Now here's a final look after finishing up and letting it dry. Man, it almost looks brand new. Alright, so after restoring our headlights, another mod you can do to make these look even better is to upgrade to some LED bulbs. All the new cars these days come equipped with these, and I'm just tired of getting blinded on the road, so hey, if you can't beat them, we might as well join them, right? But real quick guys, I just want to give a shout out to Bosla for sending these awesome LED bulbs over to me. If you're in the market for some LEDs, I definitely recommend checking out the website to see what they have. I've actually ran their LED bulbs in all of my project cars, and I'll probably continue to do so because of how easy it is to swap out. These bad boys are plug and play, so it's super easy to install. Here, I'll show you guys real quick. So for the 8th gen, you can get to the headlight bulbs from up top by simply reaching into the assembly to disconnect them. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but with some hand contortions and a few curse words, that usually does the trick. And here's the bulb that I'm replacing. This is actually the high beam that I'll be upgrading, which is the 9005 bulb. To fully remove the bulb, you just have to twist it counterclockwise and then pull it straight out. And then once it's free, you just gotta disconnect it from the wiring. I had to use a plier for this because of how stuck it was to the plastic connector. So just push down on the tab while pulling and wiggling the bulb off of the connector. And then in order to install the LEDs, you will just install it like normal since they're plug and play. Just plug it into the wiring harness and then insert it into the headlight, then twist clockwise to lock it into place. Yep, it's as simple as that. So like I said before, I'm only upgrading the high beams because I actually did not want to blind everybody on the roads at night. The halogen bulbs worked just fine for me, and cleaning the headlights actually improved visibility as well. And so with LED high beams, that gives me the option to turn them on and off for when I actually do need to see far into the darkness. And here's what it looks like in comparison. The bright white looks a lot cooler than the yellow halogen in my opinion. And so to get to the driver's side, we've got to take the battery out in order to reach into the area where the bulb is. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm just going to remove the battery holder and then undo the negative followed by the positive connection. These are all going to be 10mm nuts, I believe. And as a friendly reminder, in order to take off your red socks, you first need to take off your black shoes. So negative comes off first and then the positive. Oh, and after the battery comes out, this reservoir right here is in the way, so just pull it upwards to slide it out of position and set it aside. With that, you should be able to reach down in there to twist the bulb out and unplug it from the harness. And just like the passenger side, go ahead and plug in the LED, then insert it into the headlight assembly and you're good to go. So now we've got them in, now we'll just turn them on to test and see if they work properly. If yours isn't turning on, then you probably didn't plug in the connectors together fully, so just be sure that you hear a click when you do that. But yeah guys, I'm rocking with these new LEDs. It's definitely an upgrade since they look and work really well at night. Like right here, you could damn near see everything on the road. Alright, so after cleaning up the headlights and throwing in some new LED bulbs, I think the next thing you could do is add some fog lights. These things should be going right here. Got these fog lights off of Amazon, so I'll drop the link down below in the description, along with all of the other mods that I'll be installing today in this video. These are just a generic set of fog lights, and everything needed should be included here in this package. Just like the LEDs, these are going to be plug and play as well, but the install is a bit more laborious since we'll be taking off the front bumper for this part. So I'm gonna just show you how to do that real quick. And first up, we'll be taking off this plastic cover, which is held in by a couple of fasteners. All you need is a tool to pry them off, and my weapon of choice is going to be a flathead, mainly because it's what I had on hand, but I recommend getting a tool specifically for taking these out since they were a pain in my ass here. But yeah, once they're all out, go ahead and slide the cover past the hood latch and it should be free. Taking that cover off exposes 2 screws that you'll need to undo using a hex tool. Oh, and be sure to keep track of your hardware that you're taking off. I usually just toss mine up onto the window cowl, but use a magnetic tray if you got one. Now down below, we've got a screw on each side of the bumper that connects with the fender. Go ahead and grab you a Phillips head screwdriver and find it behind this plastic cover inside of the wheel well. And then once you get it out, you just give it a tug and it should pop right out. So now we've got to take off the fasteners that are underneath the car, but before that, I'm just going to remove the battery to have some room to work with whenever we start messing with the wiring. And to make my life easier, I'll just be raising the car up on jack stands so that I can have room to access the fasteners on the bottom of the bumper. The front bumper is attached to all these plastic splash shields, so go ahead and remove the fasteners holding them together and the bumper should be free after that. Alright, there should be nothing but tabs holding it in, so go ahead and just pull on the bumper firmly to remove it. So we're going to be flipping the bumper over, so make sure you have some carpet or cardboard underneath. To take these plastic covers off, just get a flat head and push down on the tabs that are holding it in. The fog lights came with some hardware, so I'm going to add this U-clip into the corner of where the fog lights should be screwed in. And now get your fog light and fit it up from the front, and then go ahead and tighten it up with the hardware that was provided. It seems like this part will just be held in by one screw. And for the other side, I got y'all with the POV angle. Yup, there it goes. Got our fog lights installed into the bumper and it's looking pretty good. Now our next step is to wire it up. So let's go ahead and unravel all of this wiring and put them in their proper spots. It seems the connector with the longest wire should reach the passenger side, while the shorter end will be for the driver's side. Alright, so after plugging the wires into the fog lights, we're left with the rest of the harness to hook up. Now this red wire is going to be hooked up along with the battery on the positive terminal. And this black wire is going to be grounded somewhere along the frame. And I'll probably just put it right here on the front. and here we've got the relay. It just plugs into the harness and you bolt it down anywhere on the car to keep it secure. So just go ahead and plug in the relay, and then we're going to run all of these wires through and underneath the headlight assembly. As for cable management, you can utilize the zip ties that it came with. But yeah, we'll try to tuck everything away along with the headlight wiring. And you can see here that we've got it all pulled through. I'll just secure the relay up against the frame right here, right where that bolt is. We're going to hook the positive and ground up later when it's time to put the battery back in. So next up, let's focus on the wiring that will lead into the car for the on and off switch. We're going to run this along the fender line and feed it through into the footwell. And to do this, we need to take off the plastic cover for the wheel well by popping out all of the fasteners. Just like for the bumper, you can pry them off with a flathead. And it doesn't have to be totally removed, just enough so that we can get our hands in there to feed the wires through. But yeah, it's going to run all along this fender line. And where this rubber grommet is, go ahead and pop this off with a flathead and it'll expose the hole that we want to run the wires through into the footwell. So now go grab your box cutter and cut an X into this rubber grommet, enough to where we can pass the wires through it. It should look a little something like this. Okay, so now we just have to run it along the fender line and feed it through. And check it out, here's how it should look after it's all done and zip tied. Now on the front, I'll just do some more cable management. It's got a lot of extra wire up here, so I'll just bundle it up and secure it onto the bumper with some zip ties. Okay, so it's all nice and tidied up. Now we won't see the wires hanging from the air dam, so we can go ahead and reinstall the bumper now. Alright, so let's move on to the final steps. We fed the wire through and you should now see it underneath the dash, hanging inside of the footwell. And here is the button that we've got to install into the dash now. It's just going to fit right where this empty compartment is. And to do that, we've got to take apart some of the dashboard. First, you got to pull off the bottom piece, and then we'll get the top off. For the bottom portion, it's all held in by plastic tabs, so just get a good grip on it and firmly pull to separate it from the clips. Now this is all plastic, so just be careful not to crack it. And after doing that, we can now see the one screw that secures the top portion, but also where these buttons are. Go ahead and reach inside and unplug the plastic connector, or else it'll prevent us from fully removing the dash. You just gotta look underneath and follow this wire, push down on the tab and pull it out. So yeah, let's remove the screw now, and just like the bottom piece, it's all held in by plastic tabs, so just pull firmly to remove. Now that we've got it off, we'll just unscrew the empty compartment and replace it with the button that was provided in the kit. It'll be the same dimensions, so the holes should line up exactly the same. All it is a simple swap. And with the button installed, just put the dash back together and then plug up the wire into the button. It should be long enough to reach underneath and plug right in, but if not, you gotta feed more of the wire through until it does. But yeah, just plug it in, and then don't forget to plug in the other connection as well, and we'll just tuck it away with the rest of the wires. Now going back to the front, I've got the relay secured onto the frame, as well as the ground hooked up to this bolt right here, and the positive bolted in along with the terminal. And now just throw the battery back in and we should be all set. And check it out, with the battery hooked up, the button will be illuminated to show that the fog lights are on and working. But yeah, there we go guys, got some brand new fog lights installed, so let's go ahead and see if they work now. And it's a success! Guys, I've always wanted fog lights on this car, so I'm really happy to have finally done this mod. It really does add to the look, and it also helps with seeing more of the road at night as well. Alright, so now let's move on to the back of the car and let's change things up a little bit. For our next mod, we've got something easy, and best of all, it's free to do. So one thing you could do to make your car look much cleaner is to simply debadge the car. To make my life easier, I've just got a heat gun here to loosen up the adhesive that's holding the badge in. With this, the badges should come right off while using a tool to pry with. I just got my flathead here wrapped with a microfiber towel so that I don't scratch up my paint. And with the badge off, you'll be left with the residue that the adhesive left behind. So just get you a bottle of warm soapy water and rub it all off. I think there's products out there like Goo Gone to help get rid of the sticky residue like this off as well. But I'm just using what I have on hand and it works just fine. And wow, look at that y'all. The rear end looks so much better now that it's less cluttered. Doing this free mod really does make a difference when it comes to having a clean looking car. But also, as much as I'd rather have no badges at all, it seems the Honda emblem leaves behind these two holes, and the only way to get rid of that is to shave it down and respray it clean, which is a lot of work for a simple D-badge. So I'll have to keep the emblem for now, but if you got the time and energy for that, I'd probably just sand it down smooth, fill it in a little bit, then paint match the area to complete the look. And since I want a cleaner look for the car, I'll be getting rid of these sun-faded decal stickers as well. I had these on during the time that I was cutting and selling stickers, but maybe in the future, I'll design something else that's way cooler. Alright, so now, I think just to give it a little bit of personality, I'm going to go ahead and spray paint all of the chrome bits. The chrome looks really nice, but you know, after years of owning it, I think I just want to switch it up just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and color match it with the white. Most people will go with Plasti Dip. I would also recommend that just because of how easy it is to use and how easy it is to just peel off once you're done with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and go the full route. I'm gonna prep it, sand it, and then I'm gonna spray it down with this. And then I'm gonna cover it up with some clear coat to give it a nice protective layer and a nice shine. So let's grab our masking tape once again and mask off all of the areas that we don't want to get spray paint on. Making sure we tape up all of the edges and then following up with paper to cover up the rest of the car. So now let's sand down the part using 400 grit sandpaper, and all we're doing is scratching up the surface, making it smooth so that the spray paint will have a nice layer to bond to. I've just got this Duplicolor spray can that you can find at any local auto store such as AutoZone for like 10 bucks I think it was. But yeah, Duplicolor sells paint cans that match original manufacturer paint codes, so I grabbed me one specifically for a Honda color to match mine. Now as for spray painting, my method here is to spray a light coat for the first layer so that the following layers will blend and stick a lot better. Too heavy on the spray and you'll end up with runs, so yeah, coat the first layer nice and easy and then you can spray heavier coats right after that. For the flash periods, I usually like to wait 3 to 5 minutes in between layers before spraying the next coat. And for technique, you saw that I was just feathering on the first layer, but generally you'd spray in a consistent line from left to right, making sure that you do a 50% overlap with each stroke, all while having the can at a good distance from your surface. And then once you've got 3 solid coats of the base color, follow it up with 2 layers of clear coat. I'm using this 1K formula from Duplicolor, which could also be found at AutoZone. It's actually my first time using it, so I was curious on how it would turn out. Now while everything is still wet, I'm gonna go ahead and take off all of the masking tape. Sometimes whenever the paint is fully dried, as you peel off the tape, it would pull the paint along with it, so we're doing this to avoid that. Well, I don't really know how to feel about it initially, but you know what, it's cool, it's a nice little change. Yeah, I think I like it. I guess another step up would be to get a new license plate, as well as a license plate holder. I know in Texas, I think you could get like an all black license plate. I think that would look really nice, contrast with the all white, so. And voila, here's how the rear end is looking with the fresh D-badge and paint matched trim piece. Yeah, this looks way cleaner than it was before in my opinion. Okay, so just like what we did for the rear end, we're gonna do the exact same for the front end. Chrome just feels a little bit too luxurious, so we'll go ahead and paint match it to give it a more sportier look. So yep, mask everything up that you don't want to get paint on and sand with 400 grit sandpaper. Also, I decided to mask the front emblem because I wasn't too sure how it would look spray painted. But also, masking the letter H would have been annoying to do since I wasn't taking the grill off to do this. I'm thinking maybe in the future I can order one of those JDM looking emblems and replace them. So I was having trouble deciding whether I wanted to paint the grill black or white. Maybe something that'll mimic an SI grill. But ultimately, I chose to spray it white to complete the look and stand out from the rest of the Civics in the parking lot. But yeah, this is a pretty fun mod to try out since it's not much of a big change, but doing this yourself makes the results feel much more satisfying. If you were ever wanting to get into spray painting, trying it out on small parts like this is a really good way to get your feet wet. It's not a huge commitment, and if you mess up, you could always try again. Before I was able to spray paint an entire car confidently, this is what I was doing with small parts and just a couple of spray cans. And wow, this really does add detail to the front end. But I'ma definitely have to swap that emblem out with the JDM one. Now while the grill is drying, let's install the next mod that is on our list. We're going to be replacing these crappy rain guards that melted and broke off during the Texas summer heat. I think I got these off of Amazon and the quality of the plastic was just no good. So while I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, I happened to come across this small JDM accessory store that was selling a set of Mugen style rain guards and decided to get them as a replacement. So I'll just go ahead and rip these off the car and clean off all of the residue that it left behind. Even though it was all flimsy and brittle, the adhesive was stuck on there pretty good, so I brought out the heat gun to loosen it up. That made the removal process a lot smoother. Before installing new rain guards, you gotta clean the surface really well with something like alcohol so that the 3M tape sticks on there really good. Installing rain guards on your car is a really good mod because it allows you to partially roll down your window while it's raining to get a nice breeze in without the rain getting inside the car. But also they just look nice and it adds more detail to the car. And check out the Mugen stamp, it looks pretty cool on there, but these are probably reps though. Even so, the quality of these rain guards feels so much better and tougher than the ones I had on previously. I'm sure that these won't deform and break on me anytime soon. And so to install these, they come with 3M double-sided tape on the back of them, so you need to peel the back off and just press it up against the frame of the door. These Mugen style rain guards actually have holes in them if you wanted to reinforce it with some brackets, but in my case I think the 3M tape ought to be just fine. And to make these stick to the car even better, I'm just gonna hit it with my heat gun so that it gets nice and sticky for when we press it up against the door frame. If you ever tried to use 3M double-sided tape in the cold, it doesn't work too good and it just doesn't want to stick at all. But yeah guys, just eyeball the placement and stick it right on there. Since I have my windows tinted, you can't really see the Mugen logo. Woo, there it is on the car, and yeah, this makes your ride look and feel more proper. Also, the Mugen style looks really sleek compared to the generic ones on Amazon. Oh, and there she is, y'all. We just did a bunch of small mods to the car and gave it a little bit of style as an update. It might not have been much, but it's just to show what the everyday person could do to revitalize your daily driver. Alright, so this next set of mods are for those willing to spend a bit of money to upgrade their daily driver. And getting some new shoes for the whip is one of the mods that people love to do in the early stages. A fresh set of wheels can change the entire look and feel of a car. And to get some the affordable way is I'd highly recommend scrolling through Facebook Marketplace every single day of the week, lowballing every post you come across while envisioning how sick your car is going to look with them on. I'm kidding y'all, but don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace for real. You can find some really nice options on there for a decent price, as most people on there are trying to get rid of their parts that just collect dust from sitting in the garage. See, what I like to do is I like to search up and see what type of OEM wheels off of other cars would fit onto mine. And luckily for me, a listing for a set of Evo 8 wheels with tires on them came my way, and I was able to pick these up for an affordable price. OEM wheels on the marketplace as well as junkyards would typically be in the $300 to $400 range. So go out there and search, because there's lots of affordable options out there. Now my personal favorites for the 8th gen Civic would have to be the Evo 8 wheels, Tesla wheels, as well as TSX wheels. I think those really complement the body style. But again, make sure you do your research to make sure that the wheels that you want actually fit your car properly. In order to mount the Evo 8 wheels onto my Civic, it actually fits right up no problem, but instead of using the typical acorn style lug nuts, I had to order some mag style lug nuts with the correct size thread pitch in order to mount it up properly. But yeah guys, let's go ahead and mount these up and see how they look. Oh, and by the way, you guys should be hand threading the lug nuts on all the way first, and then torque it down to spec while it's under load. Right here, I just hit him with the Ugga Dugga, but doing so could accidentally cross thread and mess up the studs. Now this is the look of it with the new wheels on. Definitely looks a lot better than the Steelies we had on previously. And if you feel like buying wheels is a little out of range for you, another cheap option to customize your current wheels is to just spray paint them. Alright, so the last mod on our list is going to be a lip kit. And really, it's kind of all you need to make a big change with little effort. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the process of painting and installing them. Since these are used, the paint on them is in rough shape, so just like we did with the chrome parts, I'm going to sand them all down and hit it with a couple of coats of base and clear. Since I'm spraying 3 large parts, I ended up having to use almost 6 cans of those small Duplicolor cans. I would recommend finding larger cans online if possible, because those can really add up. But yeah, just like the wheels, you can usually find people on Facebook Marketplace that are parting out their broken project cars. So you can browse around and find what you like. Me, I ended up going with these Mugen style side skirts and front lip because I really like the sharp design that it gives the Civic. Now here they are all sanded down, basically just making the surface smooth for the paint to stick, as well as getting rid of any harsh scratches on it. And for the painting method, like I said before, you just want to give it a light coat, the first layer, and then the following coats you can lay it on much thicker, with a much longer stroke. Generally, I try to give it 3 solid coats of base and 2 coats of clear, which is why I ended up buying so many cans. But all in all, I think they came out pretty nice. But just a warning, the 1K clear that I used ended up giving a slightly yellowish tint after drying, so I'm not too sure if I'll be using that product again. Maybe for next time I'll try 2K and see how that goes. So after letting it dry for a day, it's time to install them onto the car now. So to install these, you typically would attach double-sided tape onto the back and then secure it with some hardware like self-tapping screws. But for this, I'm going to try something a little different. I seen a video on TikTok somewhere of a guy that puts his lip kits on using only Velcro strips. I thought it was a neat trick because with that, you could easily just rip it off whenever you need to, while it's still being strong enough to stay on your car. And the sticky adhesive on these strips are pretty much the same thing as the 3M double-sided tape. So to make sure these actually stick to the car, I heated the adhesive side with a heat gun and pressed it in firmly. So here's the side skirt on the car without any screws installed. I really could just leave it like this as is. And the reason I'm thinking he did it is because he was probably too low to the floor, so maybe he has to take it off before getting into his driveway. But yeah, I just thought it was a neat trick, and these command strips were a lot cheaper than a roll of 3M tape. And so even though I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and just secure the lip onto the car so that I know for sure it won't come off during my daily drive. Just grab you some self-tapping screws and screw it into the side like this. And for the front, it's pretty much the same thing. I've got the Velcro all along the top on the inside of the lip, and then just add some self-tapping screws onto the side. Yep, that's all there is to it. Everything's installed onto the car. I can't wait to drop it on the floor and just see how it looks now. Damn, look at how much has changed with just some simple mods done to it. For it just being my daily driver, these subtle changes make me enjoy and appreciate my car even more. It's not too over the top and it looks really clean now. So here's what it used to look like, and then here it is now. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's actually a bunch of more stuff that I could have added to this car, but I just wanted to show you guys some simple ways to revitalize your old daily driver. I'm gonna continue to add simple mods throughout the year, so be sure to look out for those. Like always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all for the next one.